Thanks for watching this presentation on how to set up and attach documents to various entities in the HomeBuilder solution. What you're looking at is the front page of HomeBuilder, and on here I'm going to go through a few exercises today. The first thing I'm going to do is show you how to attach a price list against a vendor contract, against a phase, and then I'm going to see what other contracts have been set up for pricing. And then I'm going to set up a missing category so that we can classify insurance documents. And then finally, I'm going to show the initial stages of how to do setup or storage in Azure BLOB storage rather than into the base database. This is important for correct storage of data and used to access via the vendor portal if you want to turn that on. But all of this stuff doesn't have to be set up for the portal, and you don't have to use Azure Blob storage. You can just simply use the base Business Central storage if you wish. Anyway, enough of the technical for now. I'm going to go and attach a price list. I've just been sent one by my company, Allman Cleaning, and it's against phase one. So you can see here I've got a bunch of phases set up, and I want to go and not just put prices into the contract for Allman Cleaning. Just click into here. I can see Allman Cleaners are here. I'm not just going to put the price in. I've already got prices established. You can see here I've got these current prices set up. I want to actually track the fact that they sent me a document. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to upload the files. You can do this in 2 steps, or you can do it in one. They're both is effectively the same. I'm going to go into show details because just uploading the files is not all I want to do. I want to also categorize it. So I attach the file, I click into here, I browse for it, and here it is, Allman Cleaners price list. I'm happy with that. I bring it in, I've got this document. If I'm going to have a look at it, I can click into this, it shows me it. There it is, it's giving me my models. These are the prices I've got. Okay, that's they want the bid and they're going to win this. They're going to do the work for us. So click into the category. I've got 2 categories to associate with this particular attachment. For me, this is clearly about prices, and then I'm going to click into the type, and I've only got 1 type in here, but I do want to assign both. It's helpful to assign both. So that's done. Now, if I am coming back into this, you can see if I click down onto this next record, there's no attachment. If I click onto this record above here, you see there is the attachment. It keeps it. Anyone can come in, anyone can view it. But I don't just want to be able to view it from here. It would be kind of annoying to have to click into vendor contracts and keep on scrolling down to see which attachments I've got. And actually, I want to do a reverse lookup anyway. I want to see, show me all prices that have been entered to the system. So the way I do that is, there's a couple of ways, but the way I'm going to show you today is I click into the HomeBuilder menu, I go to Setup, and I go to Document Management. In here, I can look at categories or types. This is just a hierarchy. Types belong to categories. So let's start in categories. I can see I've got a bunch of them. Prices is down here. Over on the right-hand side, it shows me, okay, you got 1 document type, and that was the only one we saw, which was prices. And just before I go too far, I can see that I've linked it to vendor contracts. So I could have set it up by clicking on the edit list. I could have said, oh, now I want to be able to enter this category against a phase or against a lot. In my case, I don't. I only want prices entered at the vendor contract level, but you can see how you can attach different categories to those things. And I'm going to do a little bit more detail of that in a minute. What I want to see right now is what documents do I have? And I can see, oh, okay, I've got 2 price lists uploaded. I've got Allman Cleaners, and I've also got this Cartwright design. I see there's a bit of a description here. Someone's added something extra. If I want to see what that's all about, I can open this file. I click into this and I can see, okay, Cartwright Design supplied us, and they're priced these up, but they've done a price on application for some of their functions, which they're going to give us, which is maybe okay, and maybe it's not. Anyway, long and short of it is that's what I've got. So I've just got 2 prices uploaded, and I could see them through the Builder documents. What I want to now do is I now want to add in something extra. I want to have the ability to upload insurance documents, and I want to create a category for them, and then I want to make them available in a couple of different places. So the first thing I showed you was how do I upload a document and how do I categorize it, and now I want to get into how do I set up more categories. So here I am, I click into the setup, I go to document categories. Let's create a new one. I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to call it insurance. I could have created a general document. I could have put it under details or whatever I want, but I'm just going to put it under insurance. And now this is being created, I am going to click into document types as soon as I've got an update on here. So I have my insurance set up. I have no document type, so I'm going to click into document types and I'm going to create a new one. And this is going to be insurance cert. So I'm going to call this certificate of insurance. And I can have as many as I want of these things. Until I click on this, I won't be able to assign this category. So I want to also allow myself to put insurance documents at the phase level. So if I have a company I deal with who I don't have a vendor contract with, then I can load it up here. Understand that this can create a little bit of confusion. You might have to search for things to enter, but I'm going to allow myself to put certificates of insurance against a couple of different things. And also I'm going to allow them to put on the global vendor. So let's just go and have a look at what that means. When I was in the vendor contract before, I went into this vendor contract, and you can see on Allman Cleaners, I have one document in here. If I look at the show details, you may remember that we entered a category code called prices, and there were two in here when I first looked it up. Now there's three, because I've added the insurance document. So let's go ahead and attach a file. I've got the certificate of insurance from Allman Cleaners. I'm going to put that in there. I can now look at this insurance category, and I can now look at the type code here, which is certificate of insurance. So I just created that. What I may want to do as well is I may want to say, let's go and add that at the global vendor list, because you may want to just store things in one place. This is your own personal choice. But if I say, no, I also want to start to store things in two places so I can easily find them. If I click into here, I go to attachments and I go to details. So the system told me that I've actually got to go and do them in the Cronus HomeBuilder page. The setup for this, I'm actually going to change it because I don't want to do that. I want to store them here. So the setup for this is under HomeBuilder setup. And if I click into here, you'll see down at the bottom of the page, it says, so HomeBuilder setup, as I said, click down to the bottom of the page, it says, where do we store attachments for global tables? And so if I go into this, I'm actually going to say, no, I'm going to store them in this company. And it's going to say, yeah, you're going to do that for everybody. So now when I go back into global vendors, I should be able to store them here. You'll notice here, and just briefly, I'll point out that I am actually storing things at the Azure BLOB storage account level. This allows me to do vendor portals in the future. We strongly recommend that if you want to use attachments and will also want to use the vendor portal at some point, any point in the future, go get some storage. Speak to your IT provider. They should know how to do this. If they don't, we can help you. Just set it up. It's cheap and fairly simple to set up. You'll get a storage account and a key, and that means that everything is stored off the outer side of the base Business Central. Okay, I'm just going to solve that previous problem. I want to go back into my global vendors, and if I go to the global vendors and I find Allman Cleaners and I go to attachments and I want to show the details again, so it lets me in now. And I'm going to go into here and I'm going to go and add the certificate of insurance against Allman Cleaners. And I'm going to say, great, it was insurance. I've only got two options here, which is fine. But if you remember on the vendor contract, I had three options because I'd set more up against it. But I'm just going to go and attach this certificate of insurance. So how do I see this information? Again, previously, we looked under setup, we went to document management, we went to categories or types. It doesn't matter, you can go in either way. I'll go in via types on this particular occasion. And I'm going to go and have a look and find myself insurance down here. I can't see it for looking, so let's just do a quick search here. Insurance, there it is, certificate of insurance. I can see I've got two documents stored. Both against Allman Cleaners. This holder description is quite helpful. It actually lets me know exactly where it is. So I can see here that I've stored this against the global vendor. I can see here this is stored against the vendor contract. And I can see that this is against Allman Cleaners. This one is actually against the phase one the vendor Ormond, contract number 401. If I want to have a look at it, I just click into it and it opens up or downloads the document depending on your browser settings. Here's my certificate of insurance. So there you go. What we've gone through here is how to create a category, how to allow it to be entered in 2 or 3 different places. For me, it was global vendor against the vendor contract, how to upload a document, how to classify it, and then how to review it. Finally, there is a global overview of every document you've got. It's under HomeBuilder Operation Transactions and Builder Documents. This lists everything in the system. And so you can see here, I'm now not restricted against the category or the type. I'm showing everything in this document. What I can also see here is there's been an upload of a document. It's actually against the lot, but I never classified it. I never categorized it. So this page allows you to see things where people have uploaded documents, not classified or categorized them, which is permissible, but may not be desirable. And you may want to come into here and clean this up from time to time. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for you paying attention.